My name is Jeff Sobel, and I'm the managing member of the Sobel Group, headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. With over 4 decades of expertise in the business credit and account receivable management industries, my associates and I have put together this short presentation to show how much it actually costs a company to process a business credit application and why that application must do more than just gather information. Many businesses use generic credit application forms from the internet or a stationery store. Those applications merely ask for the name of the applicant, the type of entity, how long in business and tax ID number, their address, phone, and fax numbers, their banking reference and 3 business credit references, a signature, and date. Here's an example of one of those generic applications. A client of mine in Arizona was using a generic credit application just like this one before becoming a client of ours. They had a customer located in California that was past due with them for $62,000. The account was referred to a collection company in California, and after 2 months was settled for $40,000 on recommendation by the collection company. That collection company retained 35% and remitted a total of $26,000 to my client. That was a loss of $36,000 to my client. That also requires additional sales to offset that loss. The bottom line is that they were using a business credit application that did not protect them. At one time, the purpose of a credit application was merely to obtain basic information from your prospective customer. That is no longer the case. In today's economy, your credit application form also needs to protect you. It is necessary to obtain additional information and have the applicant agree to your terms and conditions. In addition to the basic information, your credit application also needs to include the nature of business. What do they do? Their federal ID number, email address, city and state tax numbers if applicable, the credit limit that is being requested, whether a purchase order is required, at least 5 business credit references, not 3, the names of the officers, partners, managers, or owners, along with their title and address. The signatures are those that are authorized to sign on behalf of the applicant and bind their company to your terms and conditions. A personal guarantee properly signed along with the address and social security numbers of the signatories. Your terms and conditions need to include specific language addressing your statements, your payment terms, authorization to check credit background, the release of account ratings and credit history, costs and expenses if terms are in default, venue and jurisdiction, etc. Here's an example of our application and agreement for business credit. Another client in Arizona had a customer that was past due with them for $112,000. The customer was located in Texas and had signed our application form. 2 weeks later, because of the language in our application and agreement for business credit, along with our expertise, my client received and retained 100% of their past due principal balance. Again, my client received 100% of the $112,000 and did not have to pay any fee. Why? The language in our application and agreement for business credit, along with our expertise, resulted in their customer paying the fees. That is why it pays to have an application that protects you. Most companies' due diligence does not extend further than calling business credit references and possibly purchasing a consumer credit report. At the Sobel Group, due diligence includes reviewing the application, verifying their correct legal name, verifying the legal standing of the company with a corporation commission or Secretary of State, verifying the status of any professional license, confirming that the application is properly signed, investigating the personal profile of the guarantors, requesting account information from the customer's references, preparing a report. Requesting the proper information on the application is just the first step. That information must be verified. Our processing of the application has also proven to be beneficial for the customer applying for credit. Several times we have found that the Corporation Commission has revoked the corporate charter of the company applying for credit. Normally that has happened when the company did not timely file their annual report. Although that was most likely an oversight, the results are the same. If revoked, they are operating without the protection afforded by a corporation and may find themselves individually responsible for obligations of the company. Contracts entered into after revocation may also be invalid. Our office has received an embarrassed thank you for bringing that information to their attention. The Credit Research Foundation staff report on credit sources and costs adjusted to inflation will bring your in-house costs to about $172 to obtain trade information from their references and obtain and analyze banking information. In addition, another $15 in costs will be needed to obtain and review personal credit history, bringing your in-house costs to $187. Depending on volume, the Sobel Group can save you 25% to 35% by outsourcing the processing of your business credit applications to our office. In actual dollars, your savings can range from $5,000 to over $500,000. Your in-house cost of $187 does not include the time and expense for a credit knowledgeable person to review the application, to confirm the application is properly signed, to confirm the applicant's legal standing, to verify the status of any professional license, to review all data received to determine the credibility of the applicant. With the Sobel Group processing your business credit applications, there are no additional costs to perform this due diligence. It is included in our service. A full-time credit manager may perform these functions. However, many companies cannot justify the opportunity cost lost by having a credit manager perform these functions. Some executives argue that the company pays the credit manager regardless of what they are doing. This is correct only when the alternative use of their time has no value to the company, like making collections. When the credit manager's time could be profitably used by performing other functions, there is an opportunity cost in using this time for credit investigation. The amount of that cost is the profit loss because this other function is not performed or is delayed. And depending on sales volume, many companies cannot justify the added payroll expense of a full-time credit manager, which is $86,382 according to Salary Expert. This slide from Salary Expert reflects $86,382 as the average base salary in Phoenix, Arizona for a credit manager, and $97,918 as the national average base salary. You have another choice. These are some reasons to use the services of the Sobel Group. Your business cannot justify the added payroll expense of a full-time credit manager. The credit manager's time can be profitably used in performing other functions, to dramatically reduce your general and administrative expense, to free up company resources for more important activities, and to enhance your ability to focus on your core business operations. Use our services for seasonal highs, trade shows, when personnel are ill or on vacation, or save money and use us all the time. Not performing the required due diligence can cause bad debt write-offs. It is necessary to understand the impact of a bad debt write-off on sales. This next chart will demonstrate the amount of additional sales needed to offset those losses. For example, a $25,000 loss will require additional sales of $500,000 working at a 5% net profit margin just to offset that loss. The Sobel Group can review your application for completeness, verify that the company applying for credit is in good standing with the Corporation Commission or Secretary of State, Verify that their professional license, if any, is active and in good standing. Confirm that the signature on the application is legible and that of an appropriate person to bind the company to your terms and conditions. Review the personal guarantee if submitted for completeness and proper signatures. Investigate the personal profile of the guarantors. Request account history, terms, trends, and comments from the business credit references submitted. Provide your client with an easy-to-read report setting forth the information obtained. Substantially reduce your cost of processing business credit applications, and help position you to recover and keep 100% of the past due principal balance on those accounts that do not pay you timely. The Sobel Group has over 4 decades of expertise in business credit management. Our areas of expertise include asset investigation, business organizational matters, commercial collections, commercial credit, construction law, credit analysis, credit consulting, creditors' rights, debt reduction consulting, extension of credit and ongoing evaluation, financial statement analysis, post-judgment remedies. Our clients range from locally owned construction supply companies to Fortune 500 companies in the aerospace industry. This slide reflects your savings by using the services of the Sobel Group. Checking trade references, bank references, and obtaining a consumer report has an average in-house cost of $187. With the Sobel Group processing your business credit applications, you can save 25 to 35%. When processing your own applications, the additional due diligence that needs to be performed by your office includes reviewing the application, verifying the legal standing with the Corporation Commission or Secretary of State, verifying their professional license, confirming that the application is properly signed, investigating the profile of the guarantor, determining the credibility of the applicant, which requires review by a knowledgeable credit professional, and preparing a report for the customer's file. Your additional in-house cost here is either for a credit manager with an added payroll expense of over $86,000 or the additional payroll expense of over $31,000 for a credit clerk whose function does not typically include making credit decisions. With the Sobel Group processing your applications, the cost of the additional due diligence is already included. There is no additional cost. Let's talk about your accounts receivable. If you refer your past due receivables to a collection company or collection attorney, you will continue to pay contingency fees for any successful recovery. With the Sobel Group's program, we can help position you to recover and retain 100% of your past due principal balance. So you can see the value of our services. At no cost or obligation, we will process one of your business-to-business applications. You can submit a new application to our office, or you can provide us with a copy of a recently processed application. See if our report is consistent with your findings. This free, no-obligation offer is good for the next 5 business days. All you need to do is provide us with a copy of a business credit application, either a new application or a recently processed application, for our review. Please include your name, position, telephone number, and email or fax number so we can forward our report to you. We look forward to earning your business.